LGBT activism in Singapore. What is your position? In Singapore, the LGBT community has come a long way in raising awareness for their fight for equality, expressions of love, and sexuality. We review LGBT activism in Singapore for just the first half of the year 2021. We invite Singaporeans to take stock and consider the implications of LGBT activism for Singapore. In January 2021, Dr. Roy Tan Seng Kee, Mr. Johnson Ong, and Mr. Brian Chung filed 3 separate legal challenges against Section 377A of the Penal Code. Also in January 2021, Singapore saw ripples of transgender activism. In February 2021, WP's Jamus Lim asked whether there are any plans by the ministry to systematically compile preferred gender pronouns for students and to ensure that teachers respect such pronoun usage in class. Should teachers be required to use preferred gender pronouns? In March 2021, Today Online published an article titled Living with Gender Dysphoria. NGOs said that teachers need to address matters of gender identity and sexuality in the classroom. Would students be free to debate and have robust discussion about the logic, morality, or health risks of LGBT issues? Or would there be simply a unilateral teaching of LGBT curriculum? How should matters of gender identity and sexuality be addressed in the classrooms? In April 2021, Karina Lim, Executive Director of AWARE,
imagine if every day girls and boys recited, "We, the citizens of Singapore, pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language, religion, or gender." Gender equality would quickly be imprinted in the collective consciousness of all these young minds.
Should gender be based on biological signs, 2 sexes, male and female, or based on self-proclaimed identities? Recently, a British influencer came out as a non-binary Korean.
But I am coming out as non-binary. I don't feel I identify as male or female. I just feel like I'm just in the middle. And my pronouns are they, them, Korean, Jimin. And I do look Korean now. I do feel Korean. I don't identify as British.
Should a person's identity be based on facts or feelings?
On our IC it says male or female. Should we have at least one other option on our IC to have another gender apart from male or female?
But the M and F still feels a bit like quite binary, no?
Is gender a social construct?
The United Nations and the World Health Organization advocates for countries to provide comprehensive sex education, or what we call CSE.
One of the handouts that concerns me the most is called the Genderbread Person. They teach that gender is a spectrum, that you can choose to be whatever you want. You could be all female one day and the next day feel like you're neither female or male.
We're confusing these kids as to what they are.
But remember that gender is not binary, right?
There's a spectrum. I was born as a girl, and then on the inside, I feel in the middle.
How will comprehensive sexuality education shape the views of young minds? Reza Khan from the Workers' Party proposed sexuality education for preschoolers, mandatory sexuality education for younger children, teaching students about consent. What is the role of parents in sexuality education for preschoolers? Can young children give informed consent regarding sexual matters? In May 2021, LGBT activist organizations Uga Jaga and Pink.sg submitted a joint report to the United Nations saying that the existence of 377A has unambiguously impacted legislation and public policies in Singapore, and they urged the Singapore government to align existing policies with their recommendations. Their recommendations call for positive portrayal of LGBT plus persons and issues in mainstream media, LGBT affirming sexuality education in schools, recognize same-sex long-term partnerships and marriages conducted in other jurisdictions, explicitly prohibit all clinical practices that seek to change one's sexual orientation and/or gender identity. Should Pink Dot and Uga Jaga be engaging foreign governments on domestic matters? What are your thoughts on their recommendations to the UN? In June 2021, the live stream of Pink Dot 13 was promoted and publicized as suitable for children.
Now hit me live. I think I'm being the thing I am. Honey, I'm Vanessa Williams, Catwoman, and Jessica Rabbit.
you consider such content suitable for children? In recent months, LGBT narratives have been increasingly introduced to children globally.
Okay, everybody. I want you to meet my brother Dave. Hi. His husband Frank. Hi. And my sobrina Mia. Hi. My niece. Hi, Mia.
I am playing the fairy godmother. We are presenting this character as genderless. Do you want to go to that ball?
In July 2021, the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus released a message from the gay community.
We have a message for you.
You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked? Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here.
The gay agenda is here. Have you heard of the gay agenda? What is the gay agenda? How will the gay agenda impact Singapore society? Ever thought of that? Has an upcoming video series, The Gay Agenda, reviewing the nature of LGBT activism, for you to know more and decide if it's good for Singapore and where you want to stand, or sit and watch. We will examine the strategies and methods of LGBT activism and explore its impact on LGBT persons themselves, on Singapore society today, and for the generations to come.
Follow us on